Hi all, good morning. My screen is visible, right?
Good morning,
Yes.
Shreyas.
Okay. So Lakshmi, I'll share the recording today regarding the reports. But if you still have questions, I'm definitely ready to provide you one more class on reports. So don't worry. Feel comfortable to raise any queries. Okay.
Sure,
This
Shreya.
is for everyone. Okay. I'm not telling only for Lakshmi. Uh, Anyone have any questions? Let me know. Okay. We'll try to manage our hours. We'll try to discuss the topic where you are stuck or where you have a blockers. Okay. So yesterday's topic was reports. We'll discuss about it. Don't worry. Okay. And today we'll be talking about data source. So what is data source? This is also a method to load data into the instance. Okay. We were talking about importing data into ServiceNow. That means there is a data with me which I have to load into ServiceNow system. Okay, for that we have already covered transform maps. Over transform maps to load the data, we have two methods, which is load data from a table or on a table or a data source. So what is this data source? We'll be trying out. Okay, regarding the error which we came across, it is the same which I have also checked the community and all. So already the college field is running on multiple fields, like we have used it on a user table. Okay, so on the user ID as well as on the email, I'm triggering this import set. Okay, so the college is running on user ID as well as the email ID. So what is happening? The user ID is already created, then system is giving us a sort of errors like multiple collages, the error which was happening. Okay, but we'll try it. I just check the community also. We'll try now again. If you are coming across this also, we'll try to fix that. So to create a data source, you can just type data source on left navigator. Under system import sets, this is the menu name. Okay. So before jumping into a practical, we'll discuss some theory about data source. Okay, data source defines what data should be imported and how data should be imported into the system. Only admins can create data source. Other possible data sources are. So usually we have a types in data source, like it supports file where you can use CSV, XML, Excel, all this. Okay, JDBC. This is a type of Java database directory. Like you'll be having a connection with the Java database connectivity. You'll be establishing this relationship to do that. LDAP is a lightweight directory application protocol. OIDC is also a one other type of methods we have. So to perform all this, usually we need a more functionality or more plugins on our system. But as we are working on PDI, we can go with the file here. But in real time, if you have a JDBC connectivity, LDAP or OIDC stands for a OpenID connects. Okay. So where authentication is taken care again. REST is also a method where authentication has to be done. We have a different types of authentications. So again in REST we go with the XML or JSON. If it is XML, we use SOAP methods. If it is REST, we will be using JSON, where we have a format of key and value. Okay, so we have so many things to look after this, but once you are into integration and all, it will be easy for you to understand. Okay. So usually the rest is also known as a representation state transfer. Okay. We'll be working on this. Like as I told you, I'll be giving you some knowledge on integrations, right? At that time, definitely you'll be understanding REST in a better way. But coming to JDBC, LDAP or OIDC, these are something which we don't even use it much in real time. but has to gain some experience on this. Uh, it is really pretty tough for us to do it on PDI because we don't have those required plugins and required um, platforms to get them. It's a bit pricey too. Okay, so another way is like custom parse by script. Okay, and CSV, nothing but you'll just validate it with third party application. Here I'll tell you the process where you just validate the basic authentication. You will have a if you're performing any integrations, you will be treated as integration user. You'll have your own user ID and a password. Okay, so to integrate it with any third part application, we'll be using this user ID and password. You'll have a authentication setup over there. If you just validate the credentials, a handshake between your system and the third party will be done. Handshake is nothing but your system can communicate with the third party system can communicate with your ServiceNow system. Okay, and coming to format CSV, comma separated values, that means it also accepts the information which is in CSV format, CSV tab, custom path by script. That means using script also we can load the data. Excel, this is something mostly we use it. XML, as we already know, ServiceNow converts our data in XML, where you'll also have a tags like how we used to have in HTML, CSS, and all header tags where the data is present. For suppose if you want to read the data on this table, just give a right click, go to show XML. Okay, so how the data is being converted to XML, you can see here. See, this is the header tags, this data source. So the batch size is of 1,000 records. And when you completely scroll down, you can see, okay, this is running on data source table, I guess. Yes. Let's take some table which you guys are familiar and the user table. Sys underscore user dot list is a user table from where you can actually start working on with the user information. Okay, so here let's give a right click, go to XML. You will not do anything. System itself will convert this data. Okay. Here, if you see, we are on sys user table, active is true, and this is the sys ID of the user, okay? And the calendar integration, what is the value of it? What is a company sys ID? What is a cost center sys ID? What is a department he belongs to? What is the mail of the user? That means it could be the manager. Okay, like that, you will have information regarding each and every user here. Almost we have 650 users, so all the 650 users data is converted in this XML language, extensible markup language. But to one level, if you are able to understand, well and good, but it is not required for you to learn or implement it. Okay, that's not our job in ServiceNow. And coming to JSON, it will have a key and value. For example, um, this is how JSON will have a value. I'm sorry. See, name, John, age, 30, car, null. So like this, it will have the value. Key and value method JSON uses. So over a period, we'll also be start using this key and values in our examples. So this has also been accepted in the data source. Apart from that, we have a file retrieve methods while using any of this JDBC, LDAP, OIDC, or REST and all. You will be using this FTP file transfer protocol secure, where authentication to SSL is needed. FTPS, authentication to TSL. These are SSL, TSL are a different authentications that are supported in ServiceNow. So, file transfer protocol is a protocol we have while sending any packages on the network background. Okay, again, HTTP is nothing but a hypertext transfer protocol, and always go with the which is more secure, like HTTPS is secure and FTPS is secure because HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. That means the site, whatever you are using, that has to be encrypted or secured. So there is no attacks of cyber attacks or malware attacks. So like that, SCP, SFTP, these are also the protocols that we have. But apart from that, attachment is something we mostly use it because this SCP is also a secured one, like secured copy protocol, we say. Again, coming to SFTP is a secure file transfer protocol. See, either HTTP, SCP, SFTP, or FTPS, we can go with any of these methods while implementing. As I told you, we don't have a right setup for this examples. Okay, so but that's fine. In real time, also mostly 99% you either go with a file, an attachment, if there is a script on this again, so we'll also be working on transform scripts once we are into coding. So have the foreign key and all taken care, we'll be seeing those and we'll be uh, working on it. Okay, see again, what is the navigation under system import sets menu, you'll find data source, just click on new. Okay, and this is the table for your data source. See, OIDC, Open ID Connect, is an open authentication protocol that works on top of authentication 2.0. Authentication 2.0 is a one big hit authentication that take case of your user credentials. Target towards customer. OIDC allows individual to use single sign-on. That means, for example, I have signed on into my ServiceNow uh, native instance. That means native UI. If I have to use community or a now learning or something that is related to ServiceNow, I need not to go and revalidate my credentials every time. That is also one advantage of using SSOs. If time permits, we'll be definitely talking about it. So single sign-on is a method to access and relying party sites using OpenID provides OPs such as email provider or a social network to authenticate their identities. LDAP, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, is a software protocol for enabling anyone to locate data about organizations, individuals, or other resources such as files, devices in the network, whether on a public internet or on a corporate internet. So, as such, I just gave you some theory about them. Now create database for the scoped application in Studio. To see example data source configuration, use application navigator in the main ServiceNow browser window to open. So what is this in scoped application? So we all know we have a different scopes in ServiceNow. This is the place from where you can actually see under what scope you are working on. So when you just click here, you can see the application scope is global. This is the standard one. But if you want to create any data source in any other scope, you can just click here. For example, say incident management for service operation workspace. Okay. Uh, so now I'm here on the scope, and this is also a heads up point for all of you to remember. Whenever there is a requirement for you to work on different workspace or a different application scope, you have to come here and select that application name. And even like while creating update sets. So what is update sets? So now we'll be talking about it. You have to create the update set in application scope, but you can commit that application scope in global. So we'll be talking about it. So see, now I'm on incident management, and if I just go to the user table or some other table, if I try to modify, you can see that system tells you under which scope you are in. Okay, I'll just give a right click. I'll go to configure layout. See, the users section is in global application, but incident management for service operation workspace is the current application. To edit this form, you have to go back to global. Otherwise, you will not be able to edit. So this is also one of the asked questions in interviews. So can we able to edit or modify fields on the form? Uh, if while browsing or while you are in different application scope. No, all the time system checks for under which application scope this form layout has been configured. So only in that application scope you will be able to edit it. Okay, so like this system will uh, alert you. You have to just go back to your global application. Just to go back, you just have to modify it. For example, I'm unable to find global. I can search for global. See, whenever you are in any other application scope apart from global, this globe will be highlighted. Now, if I just come here and reload, I'll be able to edit it. Okay, so don't worry, I'll be giving some more key points on this scoped applications. So now how the data is being processed and all we'll see in real time. Post that we'll also be discussing on theory. So I'm on data source. Let's go and create a new sheet. Sys underscore data underscore source is a table. You can also track it on URL. And t-shirt November. So here, usually we all know what is a staging table. This is a table where our fields that are there on the sheet are stored for time being. For temporary time being, they are stored. Okay, and you either can call it as a source table or a staging table. Guys, like you have any concerns? Do you think I'm going fast? Like Lakshmi.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. Please let me know. You can interrupt me anytime.
Sure.
For example, it is for everyone again. Name, email, department, phone number. I think I'm good with 5 columns. So let's enter. Okay. To check the department, CMN underscore department. Even for locations, CMN underscore locations. These are the out of the box tables. Okay, but if you require to create a new one, already we have looked into that part, like how to create our own custom table and all that. So you can follow those instructions. Finance development. So this is my sheet one. Let me download it. So I'm on a data source. Let's create a data source. DS. DS is nothing but data source. November 21st. So here you are going to create a staging table. Okay. You need not to create it again on load data and all. So DS November 25th, U underscore, why it is starting with U underscore prefix. Can someone justify this?
It is the user created.
Yes, it's a custom table we are creating. Okay. Yeah, that's a good catch. Coming to files, we have a, as I told you, CJDBC, LDAP, OIDC, REST integration hub, custom load by script. So the most three things that we do is from file, rest, script. Okay. So I'll be definitely trying to help you with other two methods too. But for a moment, we'll go with file. Coming to formats, as I told you, CSV tab, custom parts by script, Excel. If you use this by script, uh, okay, so here you will have a script editor, see import set table, data sets table, import log, last success import time, partition info. So like this, you'll have a different parameters from the function load directly. So using this, we'll be writing our own information. Okay, if you want to do from Rust, see, it will just ask for the format and integration will be enabled. If it is JDBC, I have to take the mid server. So mid server is a server that we have in ServiceNow where it manages all the activities in our day-to-day usage. Like if Miss Server is down, it's like most of your applications would stop or there is a lot of impact. Okay, so we people who are working under CMDB, they'll have much knowledge on mid server. Okay, again, see MySQL, Oracle, or SQL Server will be taken care as it's a Java database connectivity. Okay, and database port numbers will have, you'll be validating the username, password, and the server information. What is a query time left out, connection time left out. Okay, if I just change it to LDAP, I have to get the LDAP target instance. So, see, for LDAP OU configuration, we have groups and users. But in coming to real time, if your project is working on some integrations, then this LDAP everything will be in place. This is also asking for formats which are not available. So let's go with file. Here I'll be using Excel. If you want to zip your Excel, you can also do it. See, the things that we were able to do it on the onload, now I'm just doing it on the data source. I'm telling the system to ignore my sheet number one, like not ignore my sheet number one, asking the system to work on sheet number one, ignore my header row. Okay, this is my header row, right? So if the labels are in second, I'll give the value as header row 2. Batch import, like if I have more than 1000 records or more than 100 records, we'll be using batch import. See, the batch size is 1000, but I don't want to import using batch. Here again, file retrieve methods. Is it from FTP, FTPS, HTTP, HTTPS, SCP, SFTP? You can use any of this file. So save it. If you have a file path, you can also provide the file path. Otherwise, after saving, you will see test load 20 records, load all records. To scan a particular data source, you have this point scan. Apart from this, attachments is also enabled now. So you can attach the file. Just choose the file which you have downloaded. After just adding the attachment, save this. Load 20 records. Now using this related link, I'm just loading 20 records. So it has directly taken me to the import processor. Instead of loading data from the, like we used to do this, right? Load data under system import search. You have to create a custom table if there is no table, like the source table. So just create the table, system will give you the table name. Or if you already have a table, you can select the table from here And file means you'll just choose the file. If it is data source, you'll select your data source from this list. See, 25th November, my data source is also available here. And I'll just go to the next step, which is nothing but our import processor. It gives me how many records are there, how many are inserted and all. Okay, so again in import sets, I can just come here. Let me duplicate this. So in import sets again, see this is the iset. We have talked about iset. Iset is nothing but an import set. While loading the data from staging table to the target table. My target table is a user table here. My staging table is a table which I have created today, like u underscore ds underscore November 25, where I have loaded my Excel. That is the data that is there on the Excel. Now it is being added to my staging table and it is still in loaded. And here the data source file is this. I can read all this information. If you want, you can also open the iset and see how the things are mapped. See, the state is test. If you open any of the record, you can also see, okay, it's Abhi one, Abhishek one. This is the phone number, belongs to IT. This is the email. Okay. Just come back. Now you have a load data. That also gives you the same information, the iset information of all the 5 records. System always starts with the binary value 0, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 records in total. As it starts with 0, the highest will be 4. See, it is also showing as loaded. If I open the 4th record, it is Monica, the one which is in the last in the list. Now import log, this is the cleanup activity that runs in the system. For every 7 days, the old data will be cleaned up directly, automated this is. So system will take care of this. So you'll have information about the cleanup activity under import log. And coming to create transform map. Now this is actually the place from where we are actually establishing a connection for your staging table and a target table. So I have to give a name again. TSM is nothing but a transform map. I have given everything in short. Here the source table. See what was our data source that while creating the data source, I have created a custom table, right? That is what treated as a source table. Okay. Some of them also call it as a staging table. Don't be confused in real time, like when you start working. When your manager asks you what is the staging table name, you can just tell what is there on the source table here. Okay, I'm not running business rules. Let me save this. So here enforce mandatory fields. Like if you want to map any fields, like I have a mandatory fields like caller or short description on instant form, user ID on user form. So if I have to enforce those fields, only mapped fields or all fields, I have to just check this. Copy empty fields. That means there is a field that is empty, but still I want to copy that. I have to enable this checkbox. Create a new field on empty college fields. That means if uh, I'm having 2 college fields, username and email ID. So on username, the data is present. On email, the data is not present. So if you check this, create a new record on empty college fields, it will go and create a new record on empty college fields. Okay. So we'll also enable this, save these changes. I'll modify the order of execution to 50. What is order and all, I'll be helping you out, don't worry. Here you have a related links, auto map matching fields. That means now I have to map the fields that are there on my staging table and my target table. See, only one field is mapped. We'll map the rest fields manually. Department. Oh, I have given target as incident table where my data belongs to user table. That's a issue here. Let's go back and change the table name. That is what I was surprised why it hasn't mapped the fields directly. So now you have to modify your target table. It should be user table, right? Because we have first name, user ID, department. These are the fields that exist only on your user table, but not on the instance table. So save it. Now just auto map matching fields. See now almost all my fields are mapped. Department, phone, email, name, user ID, email. I think one of the email is from incident table. Let's deactivate it. Go to updated, created. Okay, target table is this user table. This is fine. Let's see this email. So you can open the record and you can validate it. See, this is on instant table. So the first one we have to deactivate the active field on the form. Okay, I will delete it. On the instant one, I'm going to delete this because there is no active field available. Refresh. It should have only 5 fields. Yes, save these changes. On college field, I'll go with user ID. Okay, I'll click on. Okay, I'll save it. Transform. See my 25th November data source transform map. I'll see the import history. Thing was inserted. Yes. Under this import search, if you want, you can also bookmark this. Just sort it on updated. So you'll have the 25th November on the top. I will remove this attachment and re-add it. Save the changes. Load all records. Now I'm just clicking on file records. Run transform. Already the transform map I have created, right? I'm using the same one. Now 5 records are inserted. It could be an issue with attachments. Okay, all of them are inserted. If you go to user table, just click on this funnel symbol to create any filter conditions created on today. See all the 5 records, and if I open any of the record, it has to fill the fields on the right fields. Okay, so name will be automatically populating last name. This is the user ID, department is sales, email ID, and this is the business phone. So yes, the system is giving me the like the system is actually mapping the fields to the correct fields on the target table. Okay, so now I will take the same sheet. I'll add one more. So Okay, this is completely a new record. Okay, and here on Harshita, I'll be just adding one field to check whether this also will be inserted or not. So it should also be inserted. That means this is also should be a new record. Okay. Apart from that, I'm not modifying anything. Okay. Maybe on Akila's profile, I'll be adding some data so that we'll have a different indication. Sharat profile, Monica profile, I'm not disturbing, but on Abhiram's profile, I'll add some like Abhishek's profile. Let's add some. Okay. So now my sheet is ready. These two are inserted records. These two are updated records. This and these are ignored records. Okay. Let's see whether system is doing the same. I'll download this one two sheet. You can use the same data source. You need not to go and create a new one, but you have to remove the old one, the attachment. So just click on attachment icon, select this. You have a remove option. Choose a file. DS sheet 1 2 you have. Select the one. Save it. Okay, double verify. I'm going with load all records. See now six are my records, like total number of records are six. Count as six. Searched as six, inserted as six. I'll go with the run transform as I already have a transform in place. Out of six, two are only inserted, two are updated, two are ignored. That means my transform map is coming working completely fine. Let's see what are updated. It should be Abhishek and Akila. Abhishek and Akila. Okay. If you open the records, you can also see what was updated on Abhishek profile. It is an email. So email has been added with 7 8. Yes. Akila's, it's a phone number. Let's go back and cross confirm it on Akila's profile. So it is a 0 is added, I guess. Yes. That means the update was working completely fine. Just come back here on inserted now. Like two records should be inserted. What are those? Harshita's and Sai. Why Harshita's will be inserted? Because the collage is running on user ID. Whenever system checks, okay, Harshita.4 was there in the system previously, but I have modified it to 4.1. System understand, okay, 4 Harshita.4 was an old record, but Harshita.41 is a new record. I have to insert it. If the user ID was same, like Harshita.4, but I have modified name, email, department, phone, it will update the record. Okay. If you just come here, see Harsh.snow41, this is the username. So if you open it, there is no change of data like email, first name, department, phone number, everything is same, but there is a change of user ID. User ID is treated as a collage field here. This is how collage runs. It will check for existing data. If there is a match on the existing data, it will update it. Otherwise, it will go and insert a new record in the instance. Okay, and coming to Sai, this is a complete new record, so it is also inserted. And coming to just remove this breadcrumb, you have a updated are sorry, ignored. Let's give show matching on ignored. One is Sharat's and Moni's. There is no modification of data, so system didn't care about these two records. Okay. So we'll add one more record here. Okay. Now this is completely a new record to the instance. And on sci record, what I'm going to do, I'll modify me. I'll modify email. I'll modify the department. I'll make it finance. And I'll modify the number. So all the four fields are modified here. And on shells, I'll modify the user ID. This will be treated as a new record. This will be treated as an updated record. Here on Harshita's, I will be modifying the department. Okay. So I made some changes. Um, see, I'll take email also as a college now. So here anyhow I have didn't update anything on user ID. Email is modified. Here user ID is updated. Email is ignored. But on Akila's profile, I'll update user ID as well as the email. Okay. This is my data. Sheet 1, 2, 3 I'll be. This where we have modified both, so I'll keep it different color. Here only user ID is modified. Here only department is modified, but user ID and mail remains the same. Here name, email, department, phone are modified, but not the user ID. Okay. Let's see how system will understand this data. Go back to data source. Remove your old sheet. Save the changes. Load all records. But I want to modify something on transform map, right? Instead of creating a new one, you can just use transform underscore map dot list. This is the table where all transform maps are mastered. So our transform map which we are using is also available on this list. So you can just modify it. Like I want to add a one more college on email field now. I will just make it true. College is a boolean type field. You'll have only true or false. And update it. Reload your instance. Now I'll run the transform directly because I already modified the changes which I want on a transform map. So new, three are inserted, one is updated, two are ignored. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, there is an issue. See, completed with errors. Previously, it was showing 100% complete. Now, completed with errors. Instead of this user side, okay, because the first college ID, which is the user ID, it was not modified, but the rest data is modified. Bharat, it was inserted. Akila, Yes, I have modified both user ID and email. It was also inserted without any issue. Okay. So let's take only inserted. Stealth record is also inserted, though it didn't satisfy our second condition where email is also treated as a police field here. This user ID is a primary police field, email is treated as a secondary police field. That is why here Sai uh, record was having a issue. Now you got it there. So whenever working with collages, what happens? System will check for a primary collage field if that is containing the same information, but there is a change in our any other collage fields. It is causing the error. Okay, but let's add something here and load this data again. I'll do the changes. See, inserted are Akhil, Sharath, Bharat. Go back. Harshita's and updated should be Harshita's. Error should be size, that is fine. Ignore should be Abhi. There is no modification on Abhi record, that is fine. Now we will take the sheet. Let me download this sheet. I also modified something on Sai record now. Where is my data source? From history also you can open this guys instead of searching it every time. Remove the old sheet, add a new one.
Shreya,
Yes.
every time we need to remove the existing file and we need to add the new.
Yes, yes. Whenever you are working on new sheet, you have to do that. There
But
is no
same file,
automated.
for example, same file we are using, but daily the data it will be inside of row by row. Because that file we cannot direct rerun the job like or refresh like
No, it doesn't work.
normally daily we have to do that.
Like daily, you'll not transform the things, right?
No, record insert or
Sorry,
daily new data it will come now.
that is what you'll have a transform map in place using any integration method. You'll not do this job every day. Now I'll show you. We have 7 record. Only one was inserted. This time it was working fine, but all the other were ignored. The inserted was Sai. Because system understood all the other data, there is no modification. Only this user ID was updated and it was not matching any of the old records, so it has created a new record. Yeah, sorry, someone was asking me a question. Hello. Someone was asking me a question regarding this attachment, right? Daily, do we need to change it?
Yes.
Rashika, actually, you will have a this transfer maps whenever you want to modify or you want to add data when your integration is not in place or whenever you have some on-demand uh, requirement to do that. Okay, at that time, definitely you have to take care of the attachments. System doesn't know from where you are attaching the file, right? Some of you might attach Excel, some of you might attach a CSV. How it can update the information on its own? You got it?
Yes.
Okay, see, I'm using Excel because this is my comfort file type. But Abhiram would use some other CSV format. Malika may use some other file type. So system doesn't know. System will have access only on ServiceNow interface, but not on any other third-party applications that we use like Excel or CSV type formats. Then you have to load the data. It's explicitly have to done this every time whenever you are working on data source or load data. You got it?
Yes.
Yeah. So now it is working fine. It is always taking the primary collage as a important collage here. If it is not matching anything on that collage, and there is also another college on the same field, then system is understanding, okay, the primary college is not satisfied, uh, and there is a mismatch on existing college, which is email. I should not insert this data. I have to alert the user to check it. That is how it was giving us the error. This is what I even got it from the community, because as I told you, in real time we perform this not on regular daily base activity. You got it, or you want me to explain one more example?
Okay, Shreya.
Yeah. And from script, it will be more like you'll not have too many errors. Okay. And in real time, what happens? They will give you the source table, that means the staging table name, the data source if they are using the data source name, what is the target table, what is a file that we have to load, what has to be updated, what has to be ignored, on what fields the college has to be true. This information you'll always have it from the client. You'll not decide it on your own. Okay, they will raise a request for this, and you follow the instructions that are in the request, and accordingly you perform this transform map. Now we'll discuss the theory part. So process flow of data into ServiceNow instance. A transform map matches the column from staging table or a source table or import table. These are the three names we have that for that particular table which we create, to the columns in the target table. So data source, import set table, where staging table will take care of your columns that are there on the file, and using load data or data source will transform, and the transform will create the, like, replace the data that is there on our staging table on our target table. This is how the flow goes. Once we load data through data source like Excel, CSV, it doesn't load directly into the target table. It loads into the staging table. And once loaded in staging table, we can perform the transform map actions to load the data into the target table. If it is user table, you will load it into user table. If it is engine table, you will load it into instant. Even on your custom tables, if I have created a table called u underscore apple, yeah, I want to load some records, I can do that using transform maps. Okay. Transform map is a set of maps that determine the relationship between fields in the import set and the fields in the existing ServiceNow table. Use of transform map enables an administrator to define decision of import data on any table. Transform maps can be as simple as drag and drop operations to simplify linking between source fields and the import set table and destination fields on the target table. Use transform map to map source and destination fields dynamically. So auto map mapping fields, which we have already know, system itself will auto map these fields. Double check that fields the system maps automatically are actually required. For example, encrypted password probably should not be mapped. So while mapping, if it is mapped, you can also delete it. So multiple transform maps can be applied to a single data source. Staging table, that means you, while running the transform, it will ask you, right, a list of transform maps available and selected. So if you select 2 3 transform maps, all the 2 3 transform maps will load the data that is there on your staging table. That is what the multiple transform maps can be applied to a single data source. Staging table, the table will create, load the data before transforming it into the system or Snow application. Target table, into which we want to load the data and map the fields, is our target table. Auto map matching fields is going to automatically map the fields. If it is not doing so, you have to go with mapping assist. This is a manual way to map the fields on your staging table and on your target table. So collage fields is a set in transform map. It is just a true or false field. Okay. Between a source table and a target table, collage on a single field, we can run it on multiple fields too, because there is a question in most of the interviews. Can we apply collage on multiple? fields. Yes, that is possible, but it is not considered as a good practice because here itself we have noticed that change. Whenever it was running on one field, the data was imported without any errors. But when I'm running queries on multiple fields like username, password, the system is not allowing the data directly into the instance without checking the primary collays and the secondary collays. And there are certain errors. You have to debug the errors. And there is also a drawback using multiple collages. So sometimes what happened now, the collage is being improvised in our previous what it was in the older versions. It is checking, okay, if the collage on user ID is not there, the collage on email ID is there. Still, I'm not going to update this record because the primary college field is not satisfied here. But in older versions, what was the issue? Even if the data is not matched on the primary college field, it used to load the data. Okay, by that we used to have a duplicates again, and this college runs on a OR operator. What is this OR operator functionality? Okay, when my input A matches, input B matches, I will. 1 minute. If my input A matches and B matches, I will load the data. That is how AND works. But in OR, if input A is matching, input B is not at all matching. Still the uh, data is available in instance because OR is not too accurate. So collage also works on OR basis. That's the reason we don't encourage to have multiple collages even in real time. In worst cases, we use two collage fields. Otherwise, we go with a one primary collage only. Is it clear? Or
Yes,
you want me
Shreya.
to repeat it? Okay, so collage on a single field, we can run it on multiple fields, and ServiceNow will attempt to match source values to existing target values. If there is a match, ServiceNow will update the data and record is inserted or creating them again to avoid the duplicate values. So this is an expected question in most of the interviews while they are asking about transform maps. Can we run collage on multiple fields? Yes, you can run collage on multiple fields, but it is not a best practice. Having collage on multiple fields is not considered as a good practice as the data could not be more accurate while using one single collage field. Okay, so collage on single or two fields is good, but to have a better working model, you should meet all the conditions if you have a multiple collage fields. Otherwise, system will insert the existing data again and again, leads to duplicate data. Use of collage operations in transform map fields to determine if a row in staging table matches a row in target table. The collage option makes a field a record unique key. That means record unique key is nothing but our system ID. Sets the collage value to true to see field to check the collisions. If the collisions are nothing but if the same sys ID is existing in the record, it doesn't allow you to insert the same record again. It will either ignore it or skip the record. So this is all about data source and all. Any questions from anyone?
No, Shreya.
Hello? Okay. You want me to go with reports now or let's discuss that later?
We discuss later.
Sorry? Uh, Someone was speaking, but I couldn't hear you properly.
We
Could you
discuss
please?
later. We discuss later.
Okay, fine. If everyone are okay, we'll discuss about reports. So don't worry, I'll be giving you the recording also. As it was a Sunday, team was not working. I don't even have a copy of yesterday's recording. I'll download it today and share it, okay?
Okay, Shreya.
Please work on SLAs, transform maps. These are something that you might do it in real time. Okay, so I want each one of you to have a hands-on knowledge because these are not too complex. I again say these are not too easy also. With practice, you can gain some good knowledge and hands-on experience. hands-on experience. Okay. And you can ping me one-to-one in WhatsApp anytime. If I'm occupied, I'll respond to you little late, but we can connect on weekends or we can connect on weekdays also in our free slots and discuss about your queries.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Thank you all. I'll share this recording also by afternoon.
yeah, sure.